Hey, Mr. Sparks. Right, chickens are out today. They're having a little bit of a run around. I try and keep them down to a minimum at the moment because they're just be a bit pains at the moment. They sort of get into everything. But let's have a bit of a look in here. We do have some good news. Yesterday this egg was hatching. So we'll have a look at it. Hello, Leo. Let's have a look at your little baby. So this is the... Oh, gosh, calm down. You just blew the pink mineral powder at me. He's a really good father. He's always so protective. But this is our little baby here. Just wait a minute. He's just too protective. But yeah, healthy. Unfortunately, one egg. Don't think it was fertile. I feel like it's just the size of the box that these guys are in. It's just harder for them to successfully mate and get two fertile eggs. I think sometimes I can only pull it down to that. But that was the first rounds we got out of this hen. And she's a beautiful little hen. She's got a bit of a pointy beak on her, but she's just really muscly and well built too. So she's solid, but not a big pigeon. So something that I do really like. So I'm hoping this little baby here turns out to be something special. Depending on how our rings turn up for Pattaya, this one may get a ring on it, but at this point, I don't know, probably not. It might just miss that because this one's going to need ringing in like a week, 7 to 10 days maybe. So I can't get too excited about that just yet. So we'll put this little baby back in there because Leo's getting protective like a good father he is. But look at that tiny little baby. Those eggs are actually really small too. So I'm just happy that one hatched pretty healthy. We'll keep an eye on that over the next few days. And what else have I done? I gave this a bit of a clean out before and disinfect and everything too, because I haven't done it since, Messi was in there. Rest in peace, poor little fella. So yeah, we'll see how that one turns out. We'll go over here. We got some more good news, actually a couple of good news in here as well, so we'll get into that. I've noticed that obviously those hens, Storm's been hanging around there. This hen's been hanging around there. This hen's hanging around there. She's getting chased pretty heavily as well. So there's going to be a whole bunch of eggs coming through soon, which is good. It kind of lines up well. So we're not really going to do... I've only got... The only two babies that I've got out of these we sent to the one Loft race. Oh, there's 83. He's chasing this hen. He's trying to keep her in that nest bowl. She feels like she's going to lay too. Actually, when I was in there cleaning it before, she didn't want to get out of the nest bowl, so that's a good sign. And she's quite puffy in that back end, so hopefully she will lay. We've still got a couple of hours before she will. It's generally around about that 5:30, so hopefully she gets into that. But like I was talking about before we got sidetracked over there, these two, the only two babies I've got off these for this year were the two that we sent to the Meadow 1 Loft race. One of them got sick, but it recovered, so it's pretty good news. So I'm still debating whether we let these sit on eggs, because the last round turned out to both infertile, so I'm not sure. We may even just leave them until next year and split them up and just pair them to something different. Well, it's actually this year, so later on, probably about August, we might pair them up again. So we'll see. I just don't want to do too much breeding, because right now our main focus is, making this very clear, is getting all these babies out of the nest. So those ones, these ones, those ones, those ones. We took those ones out before. All those ones, basically getting them out into the flying loft, getting them flying. And then we'll do a couple of rounds for Pattaya. And then we'll pick a couple of babies out of there. The only problem with us, it's a bit of a disadvantage for Australians actually entering Pattaya, because we race, so all my babies this year are run 2022, and Pattaya actually only lets you put on the 2023, which lines up with the rest of the world, which makes sense, because for some reason Australia is a little bit behind in that. I don't know how it works, but because we've got to get these rings from Pattaya, we actually have to put those rings on the babies, and then hopefully that we've made a good choice there, where all the other countries, they can just breed a whole bunch of babies, and when it comes to that day where they actually want to put those birds into that one loft, they can just pick from 50 to 100 babies, whatever they got there, what they want to send, where we have to make that decision when the babies are only like 7 days old. So yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a disadvantage, but given you know, Australia's got some pretty good birds. They've done pretty well last year, so hopefully, you know, some of the other Australians jump on board and throw in some of those really interesting old Aussie lines. It'll be interesting to see how those ones perform, because, you know, there was a few Australian birds that done pretty well. They got into the top 100 quite easily, some of those Australian lines, and they're going to be on sale on Pipa soon. So I think those two birds that are on Pipa, they might be the first ever Australian birds to actually to make it on the Pipa, which is, you know, don't quote me on that, but given the way that, you know, not many of our birds actually come out of Australia, I'm thinking that that is actually the case. So I'll be watching that next week. Actually, it's the 4th, I think it goes up, 4th of February, so probably the end of next week. And we might even do a video on it. I don't know how we'll go, but we'll follow it pretty closely. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, hopefully this little hen lays some eggs. And these two babies are, you know, they're growing pretty big. Look at the size of them compared to 83 there. This is the last round that we're doing with 83, like I've mentioned many times before. Hopefully these eggs coming out of her now will just float them, because I've got to pick up the new cockbird tomorrow from the airport that we are going to pair up with this hen. And hopefully it's pretty special. This cockbird has bred some winners out to 600 kilometers, around the 600 kilometers range. And also this hen's sister, she spread some one loft winners last year as well, and a few placings locally. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good pair. That we may even just enter all babies from her into Pattaya, and then maybe from over here. But, you know, we've got to round up those, weigh all those pros and cons up at the moment. But, you know, it's all planned. It's all coming together. Hopefully it goes a bit better. This guy's a bit funny with me, but he's pretty cool. So even she's close to laying as well. So she might even lay. I reckon I'll get probably 3 eggs today. So we'll probably get 2 out of these ones. And I think there might be some more on the other side, but we'll go down here because that's Little Storm. She's just relaxing here with her partner. Like I was saying, I'm done breeding for a race team now because we're just way behind as it is. So now we're just doing our one lofting and maybe a few special pairings that we might use for breeding later on, but nothing too crazy. You'll see these ones are hatching, so most likely these, they may make it into the race team, but it doesn't matter if they don't, because I'll just loft fly them and train them out to the end of the freeway. And we could probably use them the year after. I'm really leaning towards some older birds. I want more older birds, and not having to breed 60, 70, 80 young birds every year just for the team, because it's time consuming. So I'm hoping we can get a few more older birds in the mix to, you know, just, you know, less work. You know, pigeons are a lot of work, and if we can have more birds that we can just throw in the race and not have to breed and train so many of them, that would be pretty good. So these ones, first round from that pairing as well, probably going to be their only pairing. They may do one more, we'll just see how we go. But like I said, I'll probably hold those ones pending on how everything goes, just because I don't want to push them too hard. I don't want to just race them if they're just not ready yet, so I'm happy to hold them back. I've got the space, and you'll see Storm's laid an egg too, so that's one I was predicting. I mentioned yesterday that she's pretty close, and she laid that last night, which is good. She'll lay that second one tomorrow. So I'd say these ones here are realistically the ones that will go to Pattaya, at least one of her babies. We'll see. I'm still thinking this pairing that we're going to work on over here is going to be far better, but you know, we just do what we can do. This baby is actually looking really good. I think it's throwing more of the Storm look on it, but it's got some really nice wings on it. It's quite a muscly little thing, but look at those, they're quite nice. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that one and see how it turns out. But that is the first baby from this pairing, and a little bit of a character. Very calm, chilled out like the father. So I have taken out these babies before, so I will probably move all this out later. Not too much else is going on. I don't think this hen's going to lay anytime soon. Touch wood though. Oh, she might. The hens are all just getting really close to laying, and you can see this round it's really surprised me, because all the hens are laying really early again, which before they were almost waiting for the babies to leave the nest, but now I'd say she's pretty close actually. I might have got that wrong, but she might actually lay again. So, but I'm not going to let her raise any more of her babies, because even these ones were laid really soon too. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's just the weather. We've got a lot of really warm weather at the moment, and you know, that definitely gets the birds sorted. Hey, I think I can wean you out. You're nearly done there, buddy. What I might actually do is put some seed in this and put it down there. Alright, so I'll put that down, and I might put it in the middle here somewhere at the back. Sometimes when I put it in here, I've got problems with other birds jumping up and eating it, but at least if it's over there, the babies will most likely have a peck at it. And that's the way to do it, really, at the moment. Seems to be working well with these bigger nest boxes. Just throw that in there, and it seems to be easier to wean them out. It worked for the ones up above, and a lot of other pairs we've got, so we'll see how they go. Okay, let's have a look at some of these little babies. I did bring some babies in here before, so where are they? Oh, here they are. They've already found their way back up onto the perches here. So these are the ones I brought in before. Oh, there's little Maverick. Hey, buddy. I think you're getting a little bit big for your boots, bro. Come on. You're just a very crazy little pigeon, but I like to play with them. Keep them like this. It's so much better to have, you know. So here's the little babies. Here's our little special blue one. She's sort of settling in as well. I'll get some food in here shortly, give these a feed so they can copy everyone else, but all in well, seems to be doing okay. Let's have a look at this little one here. Come here. I'm actually really impressed with these ones. So these are Mr. Kruger's babies we had before. They're actually really nice. This is a little hen, I think, but we'll probably have a better look later on. They're not super tame, and I've only got one hand, so it's a bit hard to show you. Hey, but there is a cockbird to that. He's out here somewhere too. I definitely want to get those into a video where I sort of hold them and show you, so we can have a better look at them. You can see some of these babies down here just enjoying that cold breeze coming through. Oh, hey buddy, what are you doing? I'm weaning you out. You don't like it. So I didn't think this little one was actually that tame, but he wants to hang out with me. He's a bit sad. It's his first time weaning him. Poor little fella. The first day we're weaning him out anyway. He's not happy about it, but you need to go back down here, okay? How about I put you on the perch with your nestmate, and you can, you know, feel a bit better instead of trying to come with me, because you're staying in here, alright? Don't think the family would like it if I brought you in there all there. Okay, let's have a look. There's a lot going on in here, I tell you. So I'd say she's ready to lay again. She's so close to doing it, but she did fool us last time actually, before I took tighten out for a little bit. So we'll see what's going on over the next few days, because she will sit on that for a while and do nothing, which is not generally like her, because she's really good at breeding normally. And I just don't know whether you're gonna, I'd say she's close to laying too. She really feels like it. He's been chasing her as well, so it's just like, I'm not gonna let all these pairs raise babies again. I'm only gonna leave them if it's gonna line up for fostering. I'm only gonna do 1 or 2 floating around, only with this special pairing got that's coming, so that's it. Otherwise all these other ones are going into the race team. I'll tell you what, I bet you she's trying to lay an egg too. That's what she's doing there. Huh? Yeah, she definitely feels like it too. Great. There's eggs everywhere. What's this little family? The family of sitters. Hey, don't tell me you're going to start laying an egg again as well. She's such a funny hen, this one. Huh? But I'm really excited to see how these little babies go. They are impressing me, which is not a very easy thing to do when it comes to grizzles and stuff like that, but I've got pretty high hopes for them, so we'll see. All these babies doing well. We've got the little junior shock in here. Please don't tell me you're going to lay again. No, you don't feel like it. She's a funny hen though, this ugly one. She was called the ugly hen, but she's actually quite nice now. Look at her. Beautiful little hen, this one. She's very strong. She's probably more muscly than her father, which is who we've got it paired up to for this one round, just so that we can fly this one and see if that higher concentration of Staph van Riet is actually going to do any good. He looks pretty good. He's probably going to turn out like his father, just less, probably no pied on him actually. I can't see any white flights in there, any white coming through on the head, so we'll see how it goes. And his droppings look really good too. I was actually looking at that before and I was cleaning that. I was like, that's actually really, really good to see that he's quite healthy. I do like this hen. I'm going to race her again. We took her out all the way to 515 kilometers this year as a young bird, and she's still here. So 2 of Shock's babies made it through, but this year we're changing a little bit because he was paired up to Little Storm. That's why when you look at her, she's pretty much like a spitting image of Little Storm, apart from the crazy eyes, and she's got some really crazy eyes on her. Let's see if we can get right in there. It's hard to see them, but they are really vibrant, especially for her colour. So I don't know, we'll see how that turns out. But that baby's looking pretty good. Most likely shut it down after this because I do want to race that little baby. And tomorrow we do have a barless split cock coming, which I want to pair up with her, which will give us around about 50% barless. So we're going to have some proper barless flying around soon. Here's this little guy. He's got a ring on him, doing pretty well. And there's my little unrung. Hey, you're a good boy. Very calm. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully you got something special to show you.